Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So we are now back to top 4 and we see another Bruce versus Monster Strike play, but this time the Bruce player is actually going first. And in case you didn't notice, the Bruce player in top 8 and this Bruce player in top 4 are basically the two players at the top table. So we can also see another Bruce player like looking at all the Monster Strike card, because probably they are quite surprised to see this, and they probably don't know all of the skills of Monster Strike cards. So again, going very fast, play whatever regards you can have on the field. And checking the grade, okay, hitting a defensive and turn. Because when playing Monster Strike, you do want to attack very fast, do as much attacks as you can, while you still have your Gashadora to have you fill up the field. You have your Gabriel to Uriel, your Uriel to fill up your field again, to just go all out. And we can see Bruce player actually get a heal, so that is quite helping him against the early rush to heal as much as you can, survive as much as you can. Then when you get in the final rush, you can do something big. And we can see Gabriel check top deck and put on top, and he didn't tap his Gachadora, so it's likely a trigger. But most key Monster Strike cards requires you to press and right, so unless you do have cards to help you grab them back, you do want to see at least another copy of your main grade 3 in your hand after Mulligan. Hitting into a PG, and Vanguard going in, there is a trigger, and it's a draw. So another 20k, forcing another 50k shield, which looks like a third heal. Okay, so now Bruce actually get into Bruce first, so they can probably survive another turn and gain a final rush and do something. So we can see a very different play out of the whole game, but the action will still be the same, trying to limit your opponent's counterblast, limiting their resources, clearing their regards. So they need to put more cards on the field, and by reducing the resources, you can push them through with final rush. But now back to the Monster Strike player turn, going to Uriel. He let's see what he's going to drop for the right end. And he is actually thinking. So in here, if he's thinking, it's like dropping a card to ride, or do you want to not ride? But of course he's going to ride, and you need to be very fast. But he is not playing an extra regard, so maybe he wants to save his hand to survive a final rush turn and then go all out with whatever he have to win. So only 13k to Vanguard, which is quite easy to guard. And he dropped a front or 2 pass. Nothing, into a draw, which we still haven't seen a lot of crit right here, which can be quite scary the turn after. And now going back to the Bruce player turn. Let's see if he first. Okay, he do have a final rush and a person ride. Now another question is if he's got the order in hand. If not, it will be more likely a more normal play without a very high number attack pressure, but his opponent is a 0 damage, so it's not likely to finish him within the turn, but I think he's trying. And we see yet another heal, probably the 4th heal. based on what I see, I think it's the 3rd or 4th heal, so his chances of healing will be very, very low. Or maybe even just no more. So he do need to gain as much advantage as you have to face a defensive trigger and putting a doggy to plus 10k there. So kind of cancel, and he's pressuring, thinking if he wants to use the Gear Dragon. Okay, he is taking the Marjorie and picking up something seems like a trigger. Healing for 43 against 23, so needs 25k shield, which is quite a lot of resources. But if you do let this hit, Leonard is going to soul charge and bring another attacker before your Bruce even soul blast and resting stuff. So he is willing to give other resources to not having his opponents just soul charge and call another extra attacker. So Bruce going in, soul blast 5, only standing a Leonard, but that Leonard can still bring him a lot of advantage. If hits, still soul charge, still be able to call something, and he's on personalized states. So the units that being called can still probably hit depending on what it calls. So no guarding, first check in the order, second check into a Marjorie, that both are not both are not shield value and hitting a draw. So the Monster Strike player survives. Now the thing is, if he's got person right, that's one thing. He has 2 soul, and he start cutting, I think, his triggers. So we can see there's seems like 4 triggers. Okay, so P-Ride, he is striking it. So he's doing temp gacha without putting any cards to the monster box at all. So he is trying to speed up the game, while he knows some of the stuff already out, what will not come in, what will not come in at all. So he's thinking what to call. Looks like he wants to call to Tsukuyomi and bring back some regards, but he currently has no open counter blast, so even Tsukuyomi is more likely a card that helps you the turn after, but you still need to survive from Leonard, because Leonard will attack both front and back row. Okay, so he's a Komachi, minus 5k to Vanguard, and using a Gabriel to check the top deck, and using the monster box skill to put a non and get a person right back, which is a very good play to fully utilize your Gachadora skill, because you put 10 cards into your monster box, which can be a personal, and as long as you have the same grade, you can switch them. It can be a over trigger to get to your hand, so you can reuse with a great one, or even use for guarding, or like this, putting another great fruit into the monster box and get your person right. Okay, so Gabriel getting in, Vanguard going in, calling the Gabriel again, and he knows the top deck already. So he's a 23k striking in against a 23k Bruce, and trigger is coming. But what kind of trigger is still mystery. Only the Monster Strike player knows. Let's see how far he can push. Okay, bait at a PG. Dropping another Leonard. Here comes the first trigger is a crit, and second is a draw. So you can see his deck is getting into thinner and thinner and thinner. So he needs to 53. Baited a over trigger. Nice. And now it's a lot of open information on the Bruce side. No more over trigger having a lot of heals gone, not a lot of cards in hand, not a lot of cards in soul. And on the other hand, Monster Strike player get the Gabriel inside the soul, so Leonard cannot basically hit that. Maybe he can, but probably not worth to do it. Maybe hitting a Komachi is a good choice. Okay, so he played yet another Marjorie. That can help him to draw a little bit cards. But the problem is he needs to put another Vanguard in soul, and so far all his cards seems to be order or triggers or PGs. So he's putting a crit in there, trying to draw more cards, soul charge at Aiden. And he now have 5 souls, so he can still do the basic boost 5 attacks, but his opponent is only 3 damage, so it's still quite easy to survive if you ask me. Yep, so he decided to use Leonard to clear the regards, using a Gear Dragon to pick something up, so he is likely going to call something, because there are 2 targets that will be on hit if he not guarding for both. The thing is, if he wants to protect any of them. He's tempting to. He got a big hand, and because his deck is starting to get thin, so he might not have a lot of good attackers left in the deck, which may be the reason why he's thinking if he wants to protect some of them. Okay, PG the back row. So Leonard pulling up yet another Marjorie. So he is going hard to draw cards. Putting a Gear Dragon in there. And Soul Charge a PG, which we did see quite a lot of PGs appearing. If I don't remember wrong, we should see like 3 PGs appearing on the Bruce side. So now if he's guarding that, he can probably try to take the Bruce hit. But all the side attacks are actually quite high right now. So he's decided to take one. Getting a heal. Can't get off the heal effects, but at least a 10k to make him guarding a lot easier. So nothing more he can think. The Bruce player will need to go in so fast by withstand all the regards and try to strike as much as he can. Unless he can survive until his opponent stack up, but that's likely not going to happen. So losing 5. Withstanding 2 regards, and Vanguard going in. Counting hands. 4 cards in hand. I think it's 4 to 5. 38. Plus another 10k shield, so full guard because over trigger is out. Getting a crit. Now there's still 5%. Okay, putting a Marjorie and getting a doggy. So that's probably his highest attack, and still being guarded. And Leonard, which with his hand, he probably is quite safe to guard them, but now he's thinking what he should keep in his hand. He had 2 Convulse. Okay, so he decided to take it. And soul charging for Leonard, and he can still okay, calling a doggy, preparing for next turn if he has a next turn. So now, okay, another person right, so he can do multiple attacks once again. But now, what is going to call? You can use the Kiyomi to call Gabriel if you want. Checking the top, checking the number of cards in that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8, I think. Not very clear. to counter triggers. Okay, Tsukiyomi, as I said, look at Gabriel and put on top, so it might be a trigger. So the Bruce player, I think, is saying there is pretty huge triggers open information and then over. So you can see the Monster Strike player is actually checking what he have left, because it's only like less than 10 cards and he knows his deck base very well. So he knows how many triggers he left in the deck, what other units left in the deck. Okay, so he actually decided to put the unit into the soul, filling his deck even further. Tsukiyomi once again, yet another Gabriel, check top deck. Now this time putting on top. And I think we haven't seen a over trigger just yet. So let's see what he is going to strike for. He's playing a full field. He's banking on it, because you do want to end your opponent right here if possible. He knows what is on top, and if it's really an over trigger, the moment Bruce player using PGs is very important. Okay, so now Gabriel going in. 36, and he uses the Graven skill, so last one plus 5k, and after the end of the battle, that card will go back to the hand. So he's taking it, okay? So that's probably really the last heal. Okay, the Graven get back to hand, Gabriel gone, and using the same skill again. The Graven back to hand, and Gabriel go back in, and now Vanguard going in, with 2 Gabriel going back out. With the personal right, can just reach 25k easy. And now let's see what the top card that he checks so many times, what it actually is, because it will be a game changer. Vanguard is 31, and both sides are 25. So the moment of using PG is still very important right here. If you're using it right here, and if it's over triggered, but also think about that. If you do something like 1 pass, 2 pass, and it is a over trigger, it will just pass. So he's decided to over the pass, and it is an over trigger, and it's a generic one. So 200 million, 100 million each to 2 cards, and he wins. So Monster Strike get in the finals. I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.